exact part.
No, we're just raw dogging it. Just going in straight. Hey everyone, Florida Man here. I have Seb with me.
Hello.
He is my first volunteer that I've gotten to the forge that I got through YouTube pretty much. How did you find me?
So Big Mac's channel, because I've been kind of following him from the start, because he's been vlogging it quite intensively, and after like 2 years of being like, damn, I need to do something to help out, it's like, wow, something that I might actually be half useful at, because I'm not exactly a G.I. Joe or anything.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of people like you. I was like that before I came to Ukraine. I couldn't come to Ukraine for some time, and I was thinking, all right, if I do come, what am I going to do that's actually going to be useful? So also tell me, when did you get here?
Like just about 2 weeks ago, I think. Now I'm losing track, he's busy and working. I went to Poland about 2 weeks ago, started in Krakow. A lot of people made the mistake of going to Warsaw and then having to travel all through Poland, which I at least looked on Google Maps first.
Yeah, please. Like I said, this interview is to help those people that have been hesitant about coming to Ukraine, unsure. And honestly, you just decided to go pretty much.
Yeah, well, obviously it's a no-fly zone on Ukraine, so you have to get land transport somewhere or another. But Krakow is basically at the border between Poland and Ukraine anyway. I made the mistake of getting the bus. Don't get the bus. The bus sucks.
Yeah, buses suck.
It was a former East German Democratic Republic bus with mould on the roof. Turns out the trains here are beautiful. They beat any Northern Rail train I've ever seen in Britain. British trains suck, but the trains here are beautiful, so pay the extra €5-10 and get the train straight from Przemyśl, it is, in Poland, to Lviv. The bus, it's the same amount of time as the bus.
Maybe less, honestly.
Probably a bit less.
Because if you have one guy on the bus who's sketchy, you can have a long wait.
Yeah, I think I was that guy when I got to the border. The border crossing, they're very interested in you as a foreigner, as the only young male on the bus with a foreign passport. They really like you, but you know, as long as you're here with good intentions, if you have half a reason to be here, you'll get way through. No questions, and even if you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just going to help make pizzas in Lviv or whatever, they'll probably give you a good look up and down, look through your stuff, and then you're on your way. It's not that deep, really. Yeah,
and so let me ask you, too, what's your experience so far in Ukraine? You've been in Ukraine for 2 weeks. We're in Western Ukraine. Your safety, how do you feel about safety? How do you feel about concerns for your life?
Oh, it's absolutely fine. I'm British, so it's like no one's tried to stab me. No drunkards have walked in front of cars that I've seen, even though it's meant to be a thing in Eastern Europe. I feel safe walking around at night, and the people are really, really friendly and generally quite interested. The old ladies can be a bit funny with you, but generally they're just a bit more curt than anything. The old men are really lovely, though, as I've found.
Old guys, they're usually quite humble, and it's the women, you know, what older women get, they start putting guys in their places.
You learn to not take it personally after the first couple of days, but I think that's like a pre-90s, post-90s sort of thing. Every young person in Ukraine has generally been very curious as to where I'm from, and been really respectful and really helpful for the most part, even though the language barrier is quite significant here, I'd say.
Well, I'd say, how is it for you getting around? I mean, luckily you have me here with you.
So having Ben makes it much easier. Even in Lviv, which is a lot more cosmopolitan, English isn't heavily proliferated. You'll find a few people who are very fluent, a few people who know a handful of words, and then most people don't know any English at all. But even still, like, it's like when you go to France, because even if you can speak French, they'll just ignore you, and you just kind of have to be like, I want a pack of cigarettes, please, Marlboro Gold, and you can make your way by. I have been picking up a handful of words a day. I guess that's different for everyone. I failed to really learn anything before I came over, despite effort.
It's a tough language.
But I have been picking up a handful of words a day. I can at least order my own beer now and say sorry and things like that, and please and thank you. But even still, even if it's just like there's no language communication at all, you can generally be like, beer, QR code, or scan it. Especially now you can scan any restaurant menu on your phone and translate it. It's not that hard.
How are you with like the technology? Do you feel like that's when I came over. I felt like they were more technologically advanced in some ways when it came to phone use and everything.
Every bloody restaurant has a QR code so you can see the menu and an English version of the menu. So even if not a single member of staff can even say hello in English, you can see the whole menu in English.
It works really well.
Yeah, so you're never too far out on a limb, and even when I've been like frantically waving to try and buy something in a shop, I've not been stuck or just like out in the goolies. I was the first night I got to the Vive was a bit sketchy because the train and bus times are a bit weird. So you do kind of just get dumped off at 7 p.m. as it's getting dark with a SIM card that doesn't really do anything. So if you can get a SIM that works in Ukraine before you come over, it'll make things like getting your first Uber to your first hotel in Lviv significantly easier. Or just go straight to Kyiv and just get the night train to Kyiv and start a fresh day at 9 in the morning. You'll be fine, really.
Yeah, that's the only drawback with the trains is like if you don't know where you're going, getting right off the train, and like sometimes it's an uncomfortable time, and then you have to figure out what you're supposed to do. And yeah, there's no real hotels close to the Lviv train station. No. It's a good walk if you have to walk downtown. So let me ask you about the Forge. Tell me your experience, backgrounds beforehand.
Yeah, so I'm an engineer back home. I've been a design engineer and manufacturing engineer, so I've done both the desk-based stuff and working with my hands a bit, and I fit in quite easily with the Forge. It's not the most complex layout, but there is more complex building work for me to do. But even if you're a simple farmhand boy, you can just be bending the staples, and anyone can get that right. Really, it's more about having graft than anything else, being willing to shut up and
graft. That's I haven't heard that word in a very long time.
Just do, and again, I say graft, but you do an hour and a half of work, and then you get force-fed some borscht and some delicious sausage, and then you do another hour of work. It's all this Mediterranean pace of life, as I keep saying to Ben.
Yeah, at least it's kind of nice since like we're not like commuting to a job, and like, it's just like, dude, like we live where we work.
It's not like 9 to 5, like, oh, you were 3 minutes late back from your break. It's like, oh, I'm going to go and sit down for a bit.
Sit down, take a little break. Like I said, me and Roman will work, like, you sleep in, so you didn't get to see us. We'll get started at 7 in the morning. But yeah, me and Roman usually get started early. But yeah, like I said, what about the Forge itself? Like, your experience overall going, like, were you at all kind of concerned about getting into? I thought that was the funniest part. It was like, this is the type of guy I want. I want a guy who just got into Ukraine, doesn't know anything, takes a train to my city, gets into a stranger's van, and then drives them out into the middle of nowhere.
Maybe I have a different idea of fun and adventure to most people, but going to a forge where the roof's made out of corrugated iron in the middle of nowhere in a stranger's van in West Ukraine is like, yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for a bit of adventure. Obviously, it all works out completely fine in the end, but maybe I have a different sense of adventure. And going back to the safety thing, being from Britain, none of that intimidated me at all, because Britain is so much more dangerous than anything I've experienced in Ukraine. So I think for me, depending on your sense of adventure and like what sort of living conditions you're willing to put with, if you really want to go to like an Eastern European village and see and live with locals and get really ingrained with the local culture, not to be a bloody tourist or whatever, then that's kind of the way to do it. And it's been a fucking awesome experience. I've been hand-fed constantly. You get fed. You're not going to go hungry, I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
whether you like it or not. You wouldn't go hungry even if you wanted to. But yeah, you're fed and watered, and comfortable pace of life to live out there. But yeah, maybe I just have a different sense of adventure to many people. But if you're looking for a fairly tame and safe adventure, I'd say it's fine.
I like reinforcing that this is a good thing. Get into strangers' vans. It's always good to get into strangers' vans in foreign countries that you just met. Trying to think if there's anything else work-wise and volunteer-wise. But overall impression of Ukraine, like, would you say it was a worthwhile endeavor for you to come over here?
Yeah, awesome country. If all my friends see this back home, they're going to be like, hang on, he's just been getting pissed and hanging out with the locals for bloody 2 months.
Yeah, how much is a beer here?
£1 back home, more or less. It could vary, but most I've paid is like £2, and that's for the most expensive foreign beer you can find. So realistically, that's all the British man needs in life is cigarettes and beer, and then you're pretty much sorted, aren't you?
It's all cheap beer.
It's all cheap. It's all very cheap. I'm generally not the most careful with my money back home, but over here it's not been an issue.
It's a challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge to spend more than about £15 a day.
Yeah, that's a real fucking challenge. I don't know if we said, we were at a nice little area in Vinnytsia.
Yeah.
The city itself, where you never heard about this city before,
No,
right?
no, of course not.
No. Here, let me give people a little quick view of what we got right in front of us.
Second biggest water fountain in Europe or something?
Used to be the biggest, but someone in Saudi Arabia or the Emirates had to go build a bigger one. This is Roshen's, this is chocolate factory right there, Roshen. He's got a nice little water fountain area over here.
But yeah, lovely city. People are really friendly, and like I say, everyone's generally quite interested and respectful where you're from, especially because you're a foreigner who. And I think most people can understand why would you want to come to Ukraine in a time like this. But to them, obviously, it's day-to-day life and nothing's really scary. So I think the fact that you're taking that leap, generally people are quite respectful and have quite a lot of respect for you coming over. And people are generally, other than the old women, really interested to know where you're from and really interested to help you out.
The old women are interested, man. They're inquisitive. They're
it's more of a stern look from down the hallway in the hotel to see what I'm about, sort of thing.
Yeah. What's this guy up to? I mean, well, once you learn the language and you learn more of it, you're like, all right, okay. All right. Yeah. But yeah, it's all cheery at first before you can really communicate. Like, oh, sorry, what happened here last week?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, no, Seb, thank you very much for taking me up on the offer, coming out here. Literally just messaged me on Instagram. He was like, hey, and here's a big thing for you guys. I get a lot of people emailing me and sending me messages like, hey, I'm thinking about it several months from now. Don't message me, I'm sorry. Like, unless you're willing to put the deposit down for me to be like, oh, this guy's really serious, please don't message me. Just watch my YouTube. If you still see me active on YouTube, I'm still doing this, all right? But yeah, if you're in Ukraine, those are primarily the people I want. If you're in Ukraine right now, and right now I only have spare room for one person, so Seb's taking that up right now, but he's gonna go explore Ukraine, I think next week.
Yeah, do some other volunteering stuff, come back, do a bit more at the forge and back and forth.
So yeah, I'm willing to take people on right now, and it's not that hard, guys. Honestly,
I think for me the hardest thing is quitting that stability and being like, well, I've only got about 1,500 quid in my bank account. What if I get over there and spend all the money up the wall? But you're getting more and more miserable at work. I've ended up passing out in my kitchen after not eating for 2 days just from pure stress and banging my head and being off work for a week. It's like, you know what? If this job's making me so stressed out and this is what I've wanted to do, then let's go and do it. And you know what? It turns out money goes way further here than even I can spend it. So if you're thinking about it and you just want to quit your job and go to Ukraine and work it out from there, everyone told me not to do exactly that. Turns out that's exactly the way you do it. And there's plenty of other foreigners in Venetia that I've met now that did pretty much the same thing. You turn up in the V, it's like, right now, time to start send off job applications, and that's how you do it, really.
I mean, online working, like minimum wage in any Western country is damn good pay here.
Yeah.
So you can work real part-time online or anything. And
if you've got £1,000 in your bank, you'll easily be able to see out your 3-month visa, especially if you've got somewhere to stay where you're fed and everything else.
Because as I say, the only thing we worry about is on the weekends. Getting an Airbnb here, it could go between $15 to $25 pretty much, and then food-wise, you really have to try to spend a lot of money eating food here. We had some nice steaks. I took him to the real nice steak place.
So good, best steak I've ever had.
$17 a steak too.
Was it a small town in Western Ukraine and not in like London or anything like that?
No, I know. That's what I love about this place. So yeah, guys, I'm here. We got work for you to do. It's not that hard to get here. He's made it.
Yeah. And I'm an idiot with my money, so if you've got any money in your bank account, just quit that job and come over. You'll be much happier, better pace of life, and feels like you're doing something with your life, really.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. And like I said, if we get more people, then I could look into doing more stuff and we can make it better things. But thank you very much, man, for taking me up on the offer.
Thank you for having me. Thank you to Dina for feeding me non-stop the whole time I've been at the village. Jesus.
Yeah, I know. They get offended if you don't eat. So don't show up. Like that's I guess the other is like don't show up full if you ever.
Absolutely. Eat. Make sure you eat the bread, especially. That's the important cultural one. Don't leave your cigarettes on the table. She doesn't like that, and her son gets a bit of that for doing the same thing. They seem to be the only cultural headstones. Other than that, she's been, when are you coming back? Are you going to be helping do Santa Claus at Christmas? And it's like, oh my God, I thought I was making a bad impression.
I know, she's all over the place. But yeah, you guys will find out if you ever get a chance to come. All right, guys, thank you very much. Thanks again, Seb.
No worries.
All right, let's get back to work.